someone's going through a transformative healing journey. It's been going on for a while, but they're really understanding they're going to be coming into understanding that what's happening within them is kind of this alchemy where they're weaving matter and spirit. So that in itself can be seen as the inner divine masculine, inner divine feminine, weaving into one, into this wholeness. It's like they've been the serpent shedding skins, right? Transformation after transformation. 8 of Cups here as well. So truly leaving the old behind, Tower. These are the transformations. These are not little, small, subtle shifts. These are, huge shake-ups that someone's been going through. And I think it's more to do with, it's like they're going to begin to, or they are actually in the process of understanding miracles, understanding where the miracles have been taking place in their life, and how their healing journey is actually kind of, what's that word, making it happen faster as well, so that they're learning where to kind of focus their attention and intentions, which is really beautiful. So they're understanding the healing journey that they've been going through for a while. And in doing so, they're taking actions towards 9 of Pentacles here, this new version of self, a version of self that is feels more abundant within, right? So they're truly they're putting a lot of work in right now to themselves. 8-8 could be important for somebody. It does feel like it's been a bit of a slow process. And I think that someone's kind of frustrated, I think, with themselves, actually. I think perhaps right now they're dealing with maybe even kind of an addiction that they're trying to heal through, recover from. Judgment, yeah, the awakenings. This is someone who takes them a while to understand what's taking place, right? Different reasons for that. I think it's because their headspace, I think they've been confused for a long time, as in they haven't been following their own truth. Okay, and I think this is the whole point of this. They're learning what their truth is finally. The Hierophant as well here. So it's not just about, getting what they want anymore. It's about truly understanding the medicine that they are here to offer others, actually. But it's coming with them understanding what it means to receive the correct medicine themselves. This will make sense to who it needs to. Okay, 7 of Cups here. So I do think that there's been tempting kind of energies around them. They've allowed themselves to be kind of, it's almost like this feeling of being restrained, but it's been in their control, And I think this is what they're becoming more and more aware of, right? 7 of Cups again at the bottom of the deck. Knight of Pentacles. So again, slow moving, truly slow moving. I think that they're walking away from, I think it's these past versions of themselves that they're really walking away from. But also don't forget, the healing journey it's cyclic. It's spirals. You ascend in spirals, it's not linear. Linear is a very masculine kind of way of looking at things, right? But again, we're merging those masculine, feminine energies, and healing itself is a spiral ascension, right? We've got the Knight of Cups and then the King of Cups here coming into one. So yeah, this is someone who is taking the right actions to level up, right? But in a way where they're not detached from what they want to move towards. Yeah, whereas in the past they might have been detached because their energy was actually being filtered elsewhere. The Fool. It's a new beginning ahead. And I think this is what they're truly preparing for, and it feels like it's a much higher level kind of energy, right? Yeah. I think that there's a lot they've been cutting out. A lot they've been cutting out within themselves. I do honestly feel like there's an addiction or something here. But also people around them who have not been, let's say, good for them. People who have really misguided them from their soul, but I don't think that they realised this was happening because they were so out of touch with themselves. Okay. It feels like this is somebody who has been influenced by a lot of external voices and opinions, unfortunately. This is where it's kind of like you have to really reclaim your power, your strength. 8 of Swords as well with that 5 of Swords, truly trapped in the mind with all these voices. Maybe it was people's opinions about what they wanted to do, move towards, or, just like seeing external conflict as well, not wanting to repeat that. It's kind of they're stuck in that place where they've had conflict, and they've not known how to clear through this Ace of Swords, to clear the air and finally kind of move in the new direction. This is someone who finds it really difficult to communicate, to truly, I think that perhaps they've been around environments where they didn't have clarity of communication. There wasn't this loving energy of let's resolve this. It's kind of like just ignored. You just move on like as if it never happened or something. We've got the Wheel here and Justice. Yeah, Wheel, Justice, and also we've got the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, this is someone who's closing out a karmic cycle and doing things differently. This is about coming into, again, that wholeness within, which is really allowing somebody to work together with the external now, not just kind of feel like you're tearing each other apart, or it's just going to lead to conflict. Every connection, relationship, no matter what kind of connection it is, you'll have your differences, you'll have your up and downs. And the closer, truly, the more someone is deeply connected to you, the more that you have the capacity to trigger each other, And so you have to recognize how you're mirroring each other, or what you're bringing out in each other as well. Knight of Wands, the Moon. Yeah, I think someone had a lot of addictions beneath the surface that I don't even think they realised that this is what it was. Or at least they probably were. I think they were in denial. But this is what they're truly coming into acceptance of now. They're really accepting it and wanting to move forward and work on this, so that it's no longer affecting them and leading them in a way where it just feels like they're being controlled by their own addictions, or whatever this is, this impulsive energy. And they're understanding that it's all to do with the subconscious mind, so it hasn't even been their conscious intentions moving forward. It's literally been the back of their mind, whatever's happened, the trauma that was stored, that then began to kind of lead their actions, in a way where they were avoiding, distracting, really numbing the pain of. And when I say pain, this is someone who might have saw pain where it didn't have to be. So if you want to resolve a conflict, for example, if you're in alignment with each other, you'll come together and do that together in a place where, you're both in agreement. You both created this foundation where you can trust this is coming from the heart space. But this is not what someone has ever experienced. They've really had I think they've had a very unstable upbringing, and perhaps even past connections, which would have been, following on template of their foundation of their childhood experiences. And this is like a lot that they're truly understanding. Okay, the Hanged Man, again, been a while. I think that they've been in connections that they've allowed to linger for longer than they needed to as well. I'm talking that karmic energy again, maybe even some element to do with family. It's taken a while for somebody to really realise what's good for them. And when I say that word, even that in itself, they weren't understanding that good isn't just all, all kind of angelic and whatever. It's actually just choosing what's going to make you feel better. Do you know what I mean? I think that they were like, oh no, they want to have like what's bad, what's naughty, all these like things that make them think that, oh, it's naughty, but I want it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of really, I'm going to say the word, it kind of feels like it's very immature energy they were operating from. They weren't understanding like the basis of where that was coming from. It's really interesting. And also this time thing keeps coming up. I think that even me saying that might trigger whoever this is, this energy. I think that they're really feeling something about time. It might be that there's maybe to do with their old age or something they're reflecting on. I don't know. But they've really allowed themselves to stay in connections that were not feeding the healthy side of self. It was just keeping them trapped in their mind, truly. And in conflict as well. High Priestess. That's beautiful. King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. High Priestess. They're finally learning to follow their intuition. Oh my God. That's big for this energy. They're finally learning how to follow their intuition. They're really walking away from entrapment that's come through. Whatever they were told was forbidden, or, even forbidden knowledge. Maybe they're learning about themselves more, like I said, merging, interweaving the alchemy of that beautiful matter and spirit, that inner divine masculine, divine feminine. They're really like beginning to learn more about esoteric energies and, knowledge as well, which is really helping them on this journey of clearing through I think that they just didn't understand. It's like they were trying to be very logical in their approach with what was happening, but still it did not make sense because they weren't connecting to their heart and that intuition that you're finding out now to lead their actions. And when they were, it was from a wounded space. They hadn't addressed the healing, which they're finally now doing and awakening to. There's also something about visions of the future. Visions of the future. The Emperor, yeah, I knew, yeah, the Emperor. And that's with the King of Cups as well. So not only is this somebody going from Page of Wands to Knight to King of Cups to the Emperor, this is someone who, you know, I'm hearing they're wanting to do this the right way, but at the same time, I don't even think that this is, I think a lot of this has been divinely orchestrated. They've had a lot of divine intervention, if you will. The World as well at the bottom of the deck. So this is truly a clearing out of the old. You know, when you see that vision, which I said that this is someone who's seen a long-term vision. This is you and this is your vision. This in between is a transformation that needs to take place. This is the journey. This is the healing journey. This is the spiral that we spoke of. So they're alchemizing. These are the skins of the snake, the serpent, that have been shedding again and again and again, right? There have been some phoenix moments that have had to really rise through the ashes to get to this place. Wow. I think that they're getting much more healthy with, you know, their sexual energy. They're finding a much more healthy kind of connection, relationship with that, which is very beautiful. Before it felt like it was controlling them. Now they're understanding that actually how to control, not control, but how to kind of, yeah, to reclaim that. So it's in their kind of, in their power, how they move forwards with that, you know, it's not the other way around. Yeah, 9 of Wands. I'm already, every time I see that card in this particular deck, I see rehab or therapy. So I really honestly believe that whatever this internal conflict was with to do with this addiction, I honestly think it could be some kind of substance as well. You know, I know that sexual energy came through, but it's the same chakra, right? It's the same Sadhisthana chakra, sacral chakra. So it would make sense, massively impacting their relationships. The 10 of Cups is here. So whatever they're doing, they're really creating in such a way that they are really preparing for, it's like their vision ahead is truly their fuel right now. Got the Magician here as well. And, you know, with that Magician, they have to have that vision in place. And that's what they're kind of, that's motivating them. So if anything, they need to keep that kind of in place, like that kind of vision, but it's their own mind they battle with. And this is the point, you know, the closer you get to that vision, the more that internal battle is going to come forth. And every time, you know, you can either fall back into the pattern of the addiction or the connections or whatever it is, you know, even self-fulfilling prophecies, you know, whatever you're telling yourself about yourself. Or Magician, you can say, you know what, no, I know what my tools are in front of me now. They're gathering their tools to do things differently. Oof. The Tower, Death card here. This is pretty much it. Sums it up here. They're transforming, and it's a massive, massive karmic cycle, and it started from a very young age. They didn't have the right community around them. I think that they were being fueled by all the people around them who were supporting these ways, including the connections they chose to have, you know, the feminine energies they had around them, which would suggest that their connection with their mother might be something that they're healing through as well, you know. Ace of Wands. I don't know. I think that they really are doing things differently because they're understanding their minds more. They don't want to betray themselves anymore. And they don't want to feel like they're being left kind of feeling like they're the betrayed one, the one who's been betrayed or whatever. You know, I think I'm getting an energy, this is someone who, their divine masculine energy is a massive deal to them. So if they feel in any way, shape or form not in that energy, they're going to feel like, they're going to feel very small, you know. So maybe ego is a big thing for this person. This is something they've had to really overcome, you know, to kind of see that it's actually what's happening within is your inner child. You know, it's no one can make you, you know what I mean, the Hermit. Whatever situation they've been in, it's about their choices that they've been making. You know, and the Hermit just came through then, you know, that's Virgo energy, and that's very kind of needing everything to constantly improve, constantly be a certain way. It's kind of like they're kind of reflecting on themselves and actually have they been living to their best potential, if you will, or have they just, this is where they're understanding the cyclic energy, which is what they're closing out. Here it is, King of Wands, that's that ego that's really kept them stuck for a very long time from stepping up. And they regret this, 5 of Cups, they do, because they're finally understanding it. They're finally understanding the fuel beneath the surface. Okay. 2 of Cups. King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. They're finally seeing what is in their alignment. They're understanding that it takes 2 cups of emotional fulfillment to come together to make this 10 of Cups. You know, it's equal exchange. You know, giving and receiving from a place where you can trust it as well. There's loyalty, there's stability, you know, there's commitment to your own journey, which allows you to really trust each other, because you know that you're going to not only are showing up for yourself, but in showing up for yourself, you're showing up for each other. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like there's an extra layer of trust added there. They're really walking away from doing things the old way. This is beautiful, actually. This is a really like intense journey that they're going on right now. So let's see if there's anything else. As they're doing this, they're aligning with, they're understanding who and what they do want to align with, and it's not like anything they've done before. They're getting ready to speak their truth. Ace of Swords, 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. This is what they've had to clear through to get to this point. They're really getting ready to be authentically themselves. They want to speak their truth, and it's going to come from a place of their heart, but also from a place where they feel like they are, I've heard like conquering the world. So it's definitely going to take a lot of kind of inner strength and courage to do this. It's going to feel like a small action, but it's actually a big deal to somebody, especially because they're coming from this 10 of Swords energy. Truly, this tower, it wiped them out. And not just once, multiple times. The only thing that's keeping someone stuck from making this decision to move forwards is the betrayal energy. This is a wound that cuts deep for them. Betrayal. For the Lovers there as well now with the 10 of Cups. So it's kind of, if they follow their heart, that's where they're leading, but they're really afraid that if they follow their heart like they have before, but remember it was an unhealed heart they were following before, very wounded, needing to be codependent and attached, you know, validated, outsourcing their work kind of energy. I don't think they're realising this is everything they've been healing through. So it's like you recognise this now, so you can see that when it comes, you know, should it come. It doesn't mean it's always going to, but of course, you know, they'll be healing is cyclic, I've said this, so they're going to need to really recognise this each step of the way, and not just avoid their heart's fulfillment that they want to move towards. You know, it's risky, it feels like, for this person. Like I said, it's a wound that cuts deep from a very young age. So if they are going, you know, to that rehab therapy energy, really seeking help, it's probably one of the best things they can do. Nothing is coming out, so we're going to choose another deck for now. You know, this is about working together, you know. Codependency at the bottom of the deck there as well. Truly is about working together, but how much are they just going to be stuck on this past energy versus how much are they going to give themselves and whoever else is involved the room to finally flourish and expand? Maybe they made the wrong decisions in the past. So you've learned your lessons, you've been learning your lessons. You can continue to kind of allow those lessons to guide your future decisions. Okay, love yourself first. You know, whatever they want to move towards, they have to know that it's not about giving whatever they're moving towards all of the power to make them feel worthy. They need to feel worthy in themselves first. And this is what they're working on. They are. True love. This person is destined for a divine connection. So it could be that, you know, with this 2 of Cups, 10 of Cups Lovers, they're moving towards, this is what they want to move towards, romance of all lifetimes. That's what this card for me represents, the divine connection energy, passion at the bottom of the deck. And I think they deeply feel that with these cards here. The Emperor, that's what the Emperor is preparing for. Ego aside now, not even aside, heal through. You understand where your ego was coming from. It was trying to protect you. But, and yeah, maybe when you were younger, you needed it. But you're not that person anymore. Express your love. Go ahead and make that romantic gesture. I do feel like it's a romantic person. Got the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. It's just kind of led them astray before. Heart-to-heart conversations. Like I said, they were, you know, a wounded place was leading them. But this is the karma that they actually, I don't think they realise that by making this decision, they're clearing through a karmic cycle. They're setting karma right themselves. Which is interesting. Getting to know each other. You know, the more you get to know each other as well, the more that you will be able to create that bond where you can trust each other. You can say, you know what, that I accept that's who you are, and I hold this space for you to be that. And I also hold the space for you to evolve into who you are becoming. You know, you get to do that for each other. Everyone has a past. Everybody has a past. It's not about holding your past against each other, you know. And like I say, you can trigger each other. But it's about how you face those triggers, how you deal with those triggers. That makes all the difference. And also about how you do it together. You know, it's not you against each other. It's you two against the problem or whatever it is that you want to overcome, face, heal if you can, you know. If anything, you don't want to create more of a rift. You want to kind of heal that if you can. You don't overgive, you know what I mean, to whatever it is. That's, you know, you don't want to be torn apart. That's the whole point. You're meant to be coming together, flirty energies. So it could be, you know, just keeping this a bit lighthearted so that you could, I think, kind of call back the, this could be someone who's very flirty, actually. Maybe this is kind of the entry point, you know, can I get my foot in there, you know what I mean? Can I be a bit flirty, see how it goes? I'm not sure if that's the best approach, to be honest. But again, it's coming from a place where they're, it's kind of like that is their protection shield. They've just gone everywhere. It's going to be important here to not put heavy expectations on each other so that you can truly come through without the masks, authentically yourself. Because otherwise, you don't want that tower to happen again. And I think this is what really holds somebody back, you know, calling in your person. Yeah, you've been calling. Again, that magician energy. I think someone's really... I feel like maybe they're in manifestation mode, you know. Whatever's meant to be yours is meant to be yours. It's all about how you're aligning yourself with the energy of your destined path, if you will, or, you know, just kind of what is divinely calling you. And that's the best way to find that is through your heart space, you know, which is why the healing comes through, so that you can truly learn to listen to that without the fears, without the external implanted desires, you know what I mean? Really learn to understand your pulls, your triggers, your reasons. Oh, it's fun. Healing family issues, yeah, that was coming through before. Someone is healing family issues. They're learning how to forgive whatever it was that they went through when they were younger. You know, whether it was siblings, parents. Maybe, I feel like maybe they weren't protected in the way that they needed to be for whatever they went through to happen, okay? Okay, letting your friends help you. So again, that could be, I feel like maybe not friends, maybe that is that energy that was coming through about they're getting help right now, but not from friends, from more professionals, maybe. I think that actually in the past they've had those conflicting viewpoints, you know. So I think it's kind of being mindful of the boundaries, not just listening to the external because you can't make a decision for yourself. I think they're going over that and they're understanding that better. This could be the one, is the one you've already met, the romantic partner you seek. It's safe for you to love. It's going to be that, again, clearing through so you can create that safety. You know, and let's see if anything wants to come through this time, just so we can see what's happening moving forwards as well, okay? Something came out. The answers you need are coming. Yeah. I think someone wants, again, they want to speak their truth, but it's going to take a lot of kind of, again, that internal battle, you know, they're going to have to be honest with themselves with this situation. They're also afraid that it's just going to cause even more of a rift or another tower, you know. But with this, a new romantic cycle begins. They're not giving this a chance. True love, new romantic cycle begins. It wants to come through just as much as this person wants it. But again, you know, it's about understanding how much you're both aligning with that energy. Emotions are running high. Yeah, a new start is coming. Emotions are running high because the headspace is, you know, you can't let the logic rule here. You can't let the ego come in and take charge. You know, you can't let the emotional detachment and avoidance make you feel like it's safer. Yeah, comfort zones. Confidence is your key to success. Leo, new moon. Very relevant. Libra energy there as well, okay. This is going to take someone a lot of courage, but a lot of trust. And more than anything, they need to be able to trust themselves to know that they've, a fiery climax approaches. This literally card just landed on the fire. I don't know if you can see. So lots of passion here. Don't let your past hold you back. Lots of passion here potentially. Again, not letting that lead. You know, that can be the default. If somebody suddenly feels afraid, that becomes their comfort zone. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Capricorn energy as well. Okay. Again, this is going to be the closing out of that cycle. It feels like finally closing that out, you know, doing things differently. Saying, okay, let's do this together. Let's do this better this time, properly, like what we did last time. You are good enough, Virgo energies. You are good enough. So summertime could be relevant here. And the 8s were coming through, so August potentially as well, specifically. Be bold and make the first move. Someone already is gathering courage right now. And it's going to start like with that flirty, light-hearted energy. That's going to be their way of saying, okay, can I enter the scene now? You know what I mean? Work through your fears, both of you. Both of you. You know, fall back on understanding, hold your vision. That's that vision that was coming through before. Fall back on understanding that it's your self-love that creates this foundation here. It's you understanding that regardless of what happens moving forwards, you get to fall back in knowing your worth, knowing that actually what is in your alignment, trusting, having faith that it will be. What is meant to be will be. And you will do your best to be in that position where you can hold it down. You know, and again, it's two people working together. Truly, it really is. And even if it's not just a romantic connection, any connections, you've got to work together. You've got to understand that. That's why communication is important, but that also means listening clearly as well as speaking your truth from a place of love, which when you're triggered and you're in like heated moments, can kind of fall apart for some people, right? But again, it's about how much are you giving room to yourself to heal through that, and try your best not to do that again. Understand it so you can overcome it. The last thing either of you want to be doing is having your guards up to each other, being kind of emotionally detached and just like not allowing yourselves to be vulnerable. Again, that's why that safety within is so important, that self-respect, because then you allow yourself to say, no, this is my truth, this did hurt, that did feel like this is how I feel, okay? And it's going to be so important, because otherwise you will end up with another kind of feeling betrayed to tell moment because you're not speaking your truth and everything erupts, okay? So this is I feel like that's going to be like a bit of a hurdle you both need to overcome within yourself so you can truly come into this together. Someone really needs to be honest here about whatever's been happening. There's been a lot of external influences, especially when it comes to them kind of creating something to do with stability, a foundation where they're maybe could be to do with money or family inheritance, abundance of business, something like this, okay? They're going to speak their truth. This is someone who's going to speak their truth, open up this space, which is going to give you both the courage to really find that alignment within and create a healthier foundation. But again, it comes with you really honoring the past cycle so they can do things differently. So you're not coming here together with, you know, king and queen of swords energy where you're just detached, you know what I mean? Especially feminine energy here, just allow this communication to be what it needs to be. And if it's not what you wanted it to be, or if someone's still not, you know, then you don't need to act in a wounded kind of way. You just need to honor yourself in that. Speak your truth as well, you know, with love. But you don't want this to be another opportunity for somebody to just like run away and hide, or whatever it is that they're kind of, their traumas in their subconscious mind kind of guards come up kind of energy, which is theirs to heal, by the way. It's not yours to feel, you know what I mean? That's something they need to heal through, and I think it's very much coming to their awareness, that is. So clarity is coming. Allow yourselves a space to truly express your truths. Yeah, and you know, there will be a light-hearted energy approach to this to begin with. But again, it's like saying, am I safe here? You know? Someone truly is working through their fears right now so they can move forward, so they truly see that they are worthy. If someone's still operating from masks, you know, that's not their divine, healthy, healed self, you know, that's still a wounded place, it's an unhealthy space. If someone's still falling to kind of addictions or anything that kind of numbs them or whatever makes them feel better, which again is just avoiding the emotion that they need to face to overcome this, which they have it within them too, but they're not seeing their worth, they're not seeing that they have it within them, their strength, their courage to do this. Again, that's theirs to heal through, and this is what they're understanding and going through. But again, it comes with time and space to do that. And like I said, that time, you know, it's been a while, truly, and I think this is another thing that's kind of fueling someone to move forward. They don't want it to be any longer. Addictions aren't something you just overcome. Betrayal wounds like this, you have to really consciously make the efforts to heal through, and I think this is why someone's finally understanding that and wanting to do this. There's somebody who needs a lot of support, which is why they've unfortunately listened to the wrong people around them, had people around them who were not in alignment with their soul's truth, right? But things are changing, things are shifting. It's a big change, that transformation, remember that. Okay? It feels like somebody has shame that they made the decisions they made in the past, especially when it comes to this karmic healing that they need to heal through. It's a karmic cycle, right? But being honest about it is... it's kind of like right about now they maybe are behind the scenes kind of watching, you know, again with masks, which again is not that healed, healthy space. They know this, but they're also recognizing that they want the strength to really come forward and have this 8 of Wands conversations, you know, communicate, even if it's just like having that finally opening up that door. So there's like this flow of energy between you two. Okay, so there's going to be an expression coming, but I do feel like this is part of them that is like so on the edge right now. Like, you know, they've been umming and ahhing, but they're more towards yes, let's do it. But then they're also feeling this is where they're finally confronting their mind now, where their mind tells them everything that pulls them away from that direction. So it's heavy, but they have it within them. Confidence is your key to success. The end of a tough cycle approaches, okay? So work through your fears as well if you're connected to this person. Anything stopping you from really taking that bold action towards you where you know you are divinely guided to. Yeah, overcome it. Work on it, okay? Let me know if this message was for you. Sending love.